of this MAT. So we have RCM. RCM is the investor here. It has gone to a company called MAT in Uganda and bought 100% of that college. So automatically MAT will be a sub or a subsidiary of RCM. However, ladies and gentlemen, one thing we need to know is that now RCM, which is the parent company, this is the parent company, has a subsidiary which is located in a different country. So then MAT, which is a subsidiary in Uganda, will be called a foreign subsidiary. A foreign subsidiary. A foreign subsidiary. So if it's a foreign subsidiary, what does IFRS require us to do when we are consolidating the financial statements of these two entities? Now listen, ladies and gentlemen, we are required by IFRS to report in a single currency. The group financial statements here must be in a single currency called what here? The reporting currency. So reporting currency is the same as what here? The parent's currency. The parent's currency, which in this particular case will be what we call the Kenya shillings. The Kenya shilling will be the reporting currency, the parent's currency. The other currency here, of course, we have got two currencies involved. We have the Uganda shillings. So in this case here, the foreign subsidiary currency will be just a functional currency. Although I don't want to go into that, the most important thing is for us to appreciate that in group consolidation, we shall be taking the figure of the parent. So for example, if sales of RCM is 1 million, and then we have a sales of MAT in Uganda is 1.5 million. These are Uganda shillings. These are Kenya shillings. Kuna siku mwanafunzi alinifurahisha sana. Alisema consolidation. Consolidation ni ku-add. Sasa anakuja na add hizi pamoja, ati anapata 2.5 million. Huyu mwanafunzi utamwambia namna gani wewe? Mwanafunzi kama huyu utamwambia namna gani? Amejua concept kwamba consolidation is about, in this case here, putting together, adding. Haiwezekani. Not rest in peace. No. There is no way you can add these currencies the way they are. We must look for the foreign currency, the foreign subsidiary metrics must be translated to the parent's currency, must be translated to what we call the reporting what here? Reporting currency. That is so important to us. Now, ladies and gentlemen, listen and listen to me very well. Please listen. Please listen. In your exam, always, for purposes of translation, for purposes of translation, you will be given three currencies. In most cases, you will be given what we call the historical rate. At times we get some books calling it the acquisition rate, exchange rate. All right. You'll be given the closing, or rather the average first, the average rate. You'll be given the average rate. And then lastly, you'll be given the closing rate, the closing rate. So, ladies and gentlemen, if I'm given these three kind of rates here, how will I apply them during my translations? There is one thing I will never forget, that income statement parameters always use the average rate. Thank you very much, Carol. Income statement, things like sales. You see, like now sales, of course, at times will be told that use the historical rate. But you see sales, we have got many of them in a year. The transactions, the sales transactions are like 1 million if it's a good company. Like now yourselves, how did you pay us? There are people who paid us at the beginning of the semester. There are people who will even pay us today. So sales, we can only, in this case here, use what we call an average rate. So if it's income statement, income and expenses, always translate them using the average rate. So income stroke expenses, always translate them using Income statement item, yes. How about this closing? Remember, closing rate is the same as reporting rate, end of year rate. Caroline is telling me, Mwalimu, here, we always use, in this case here, we always use this rate for balance sheet. For balance sheet. How about acquisition rate? How about acquisition rate? The date of acquisition. Let me remain silent a little bit there. Let me remain silent a little bit there. Very easy. You see, ladies and gentlemen, something to do with what here? Something, for example, listen, there are a few things that you will be using this acquisition rate, right? For example, you'll be calculating what we call the goodwill at acquisition. Do you remember goodwill at acquisition? Do you remember goodwill at acquisition? Do you remember? Ah, great. No, first of all, do you remember goodwill at acquisition? Yes, yes. And any asset that you are able, to, for example, do revaluations during acquisition, etc., we shall be using this. Ladies and gentlemen, to guide us through here, this question, I have a very good ACCA question. Have you seen that ACCA question on your WhatsApp? Have you seen that ACCA question on your WhatsApp? Ah, great. Wanasema no. Okay. Just a minute. The Lagos one, yes. Lagos. Ah, that's okay. We shall overcome. Okay. Okay. So Lagos, so I'm looking for this other group I know must be having an issue. They haven't gotten the free zote mbili. Ah, great. So all of us have gotten that question. The Lagos and Nigeria. Wanasema Nigeria. I've never known why they put an N there. I've never known why they put. So wanasema the following are the summarized accounts of Nigeria and the Lagos. So you can see Nigeria is in dollars and Lagos is in DN. All right? Kuna wale ambao wajapata iko mnafunza za tumatuma haraka kwa hizo group mbili. Please, kama hujapata enda kwa WhatsApp, sema kwa group yenu, sema I haven't received. I'll be able to send you right away. Sema you haven't received in your group. In your group. Great. Sasa wanasema additional information. Nigeria acquired 40,000 shares in Lagos on the first day of the accounting period for DN 400,000 when the retained earnings were DN 50,000 and the fair value of the NCI was DN 30,000. Note number 2, at the date of acquisition, the fair value of Lagos non-current assets, which at that time had a remaining useful life of 10 years, exceeded their book value by DN 10,000. So wanasema kwa group ya AFM, kuna wanafunzi wakapo watumie kwa hiyo group ya AFM. Ushatuma tayari? Okay, great. Let me give them 1 minute ndio tuanze pamoja. 1 minute ndio tuanze pamoja. Ladies and gentlemen, trust you me, especially now that we are starting our revision, right? Instance of video and audio pausing. Is that the case for everybody? Are you guys able to hear me very well? This is a crucial lesson. You can't afford not to hear Mwalimu. Are you able to hear? Is it my network? Clear. Lagos, haiko Nigeria. Thank you. Aya, sasa washapata wote. Sasa kila mwanafunzi amepata. Kila mwanafunzi amepata. Kila mwanafunzi amepata sasa. Sasa kila mwanafunzi amepata. Kila mwanafunzi amepata namna hiyo. Yep. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Great. Thank you so much. And then there is one more request I would want us to have, ladies and gentlemen, that we are going all the way up to 11. We are going with this lesson. We'll be on with it up to 11. Are we together up to there? You will not be bored at all. You will like the lesson. You like the lesson. That one I can assure you. That one I can assure you. No, 11 is okay with me. Great. So sasa tuanze kusoma additional information. Nigeria acquired 40,000 shares in Lagos on the first day of the accounting period for DN 400,000 when the retained earnings were DN 50,000 and the fair value of NCI was DN 30,000. Hebu kwanza tutafute group structure from there. Let's get group structure. Let's get the group structure from there. Let's get the group structure from there. This is a very easy question. Let's get the group structure from there. So group structure, what do we have here? Group structure. We have, ladies and gentlemen, a company, in this case here called Nigeria, buying a smaller company called Lagos. But remember, they took how many shares of Lagos? 40,000. 40,000. Out of how many shares does Lagos have? Nani za kutuangalia tuambie Lagos. Lagos iko na shares ngapi zote? Oye, Lagos iko na shares ngapi zote? Lagos iko na shares ngapi zote? Mimi najua. Thank you very much. Nitaenda pale kwa share capital ya Lagos, ni divide na nose. Ni divide, so not na nose, but ni divide na par value. I divide na par value. Nitaenda kwa share capital ya Lagos. Share capital ya Lagos naona ni 50,000. Right? Now I can see the par value ni 1. The par value ni DN1. So inamaanisha the nose hapa. So the number of ordinary shares za Lagos ni 50,000. So then what is 40,000 divided by 50,000 times 100%? Times 100%. Wananiambia Karo, ati inakuja ni 80%. 80%. So 80% shareholding, then automatically, ladies and gentlemen, Lagos becomes who to Nigeria? Lagos becomes who to Nigeria? 80% is quite high. Becomes a subsidiary. Thank you very much. And if it becomes a subsidiary, then the first thing that I will do, I will look at the balance sheet of the subsidiary. Go to the balance sheet of the subsidiary. That is the next step. Go to the balance sheet of the subsidiary. So in this case here, translate balance sheet, assets, and liabilities, using, wanasema namna gani somebody using the closing rate. Hebu tuone kama tunawezana na hii kitu kweli. Tunawezana ama hatuwezane nayo. So the next thing I'll do, because Lagos is a foreign subsidiary. It's a foreign subsidiary. What I'll do straight away, stand up on my goodwill and net assets. No, this is a special case. So I'll translate the balance sheet, assets and liabilities of the subsidiary, of the subsidiary using the closing rate. So are you able to see? Remember, you're the ones who told me that mwalimu balance sheet, use the closing rate. Sasa ebu tafuteni maajabu ya Musa. Tafuteni balance sheet. Ebu tafuteni balance sheet. Tafuteni balance sheet. Tafuteni balance sheet. Tafuteni balance sheet. Aha. Tafuteni balance sheet ya nani? Tafuteni balance sheet ya Lagos. Balance sheet ya Lagos. Are you able to see those net assets abracadabra? Are you able to see the net assets abracadabra? Patapotea. Hawajaona assets. Mimi naziona live. Naziona live. Assets. Ndaza na assets. Mimi naziona live. So kama asset, tangible non-current assets. So mimi nitavuta hii sasa. Nikuja niandike hapa. Hii ni marks za bure. Examiner ikupatia kitu kama hii. Na hii semester mwezi mkakosa hii. Hii ni kitu ya bure kabisa. Hakuna hata kitu ya kufikiria. So nitakuja pale, ladies and gentlemen, listen to me very well. So nitakuja pale niseme tangible non-current assets. The tangible non-current assets. Sasa nisikize. Wananiambia pale ya Lagos ni 100,000. Are we together? 100,000. If you are able to see that, please confirm you are able to see the 100,000. Are you able to see 100,000? Yes. But remember, during acquiring over a subsidiary, there must be fair value adjustment. There must be fair value adjustment of assets. Are you able to see any assets that were revalued upwards? From, note number 2. Note number 2, at the date of acquisition, the fair value of Lagos non-current assets, which at that time had a remaining useful life of 10 years, exceeded their book value by DN 10,000. Remember here during translation, I want the market value of assets. Yeah, you only exchange. Thank you very much, Robert, for asking. We only exchange the ones of the foreign subsidiary. We only exchange the ones of the foreign subsidiary. You can't exchange the ones of the parent company. No. No, you can't do that. You can't do that. Did you do translation of currency already? No, we have just begun, Mayom. We have just begun. Yeah. So let me ask you a simple question. This 10,000 fair value adjustment, is it a revaluation upward or a revaluation downward? Is it a revaluation up or down? Up. Up because the fair value is more than the book value. You know, you go with the fair value. When the fair value is more, when fair value is higher, always that is an up revaluation, up revaluation. So unakuja hapo unasema plus 10,000. Remember, this is valuation at the date of acquisition. At the date of acquisition. At the date of acquisition. We know for sure that this 10,000 has not yet been depreciated. Whenever there is a fair value adjustment, there must be depreciation on fair value adjustment. Right? So whenever there is a fair value adjustment, there must be depreciation on fair value adjustment. So come and give us the depreciation on fair value adjustment. You can write this somewhere there, although I can do it directly. So depreciation on fair value adjustment. Are you able to see the remaining useful life? Are you able to see the remaining useful life? Are you able to see the remaining useful life? Yes, 10 years. Remember, ours is straight line depreciation. So then I'll take the 10,000, I divide this by 10 years, which will give me how much? Straight line depreciation, 1,000. So remember, these are reduction in value. So if it's a reduction in value, I'll come and say minus 1,000. So then this will give me what amount, somebody? This will give me what amount, somebody? Somebody 100,000 plus 10,000 minus 1,000 will give me what figure? Abracadabra. 109,000. Thank you very much. So are they 109,000 cows? Which currency are this? Which currency is this? The DN. Thank you very much. And I would want to translate these to the reporting currency. I would want to translate this to the parent's currency. Who is able to see the parent's currency? Who is able to see the parent's currency? Free marks, I can tell you. It is US dollar. It is US dollar. So when I look at the exchange rates which have been given in note number 5, these guys have given me 3 exchange rates. Kuna start of the year exchange rate, kuna average rate, kuna end of year rate. So which one should I use? Which one should I use? Closing rate. For balance sheet, we normally use closing rate, which is the same as the end of year. Now the question is, should I multiply this figure by 2 or I divide it by 2? Should I multiply it by 2 or divide it by 2? Divide by 2. Because if you try multiplying this by 2, listen, if you try multiplying this by 2, then we'll end up getting a figure which is in terms of dn squared. Dn squared. That can never apply. Because you can see the 2 there, it is 2 dn per dollar to $1. Alternatively, you could do this in your mother tongue. First of all, do it in your mother tongue. Say 2 dn equals $1. How about 109,000 dn's? How about 109,000 dn's? So when you cross multiply, it'll be 109,000 dn times $1 divided by 2 dn's. So that now the dn's will cancel out. You'll be left, ladies and gentlemen, with what here? You are reporting currency, which is the dollar. So you're right, divide. But I like the person who told me that whenever you see this is dn and this is dn, the only way out is to divide, because you can never have any currency which is in the form of what is squared. That can never happen. So you're right. So come and divide here. So could you kindly divide like that? So please give me the tangible and current assets. What figure are you able to get there, somebody? What figure are you able to get there? Somebody. Give me a figure. I have answers here. If you don't move with speed, I'll simply give you the answers automatically. I'll simply give you the answers automatically. So they're telling me, Mwalimu, you know what? That one is supposed to be 54,500. So the tangible and current assets, we have 54,500. 54,500. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now, the other asset that I would want us to translate very fast there is what they are calling there. Are you able to see any other asset there? Are you able to see any other asset there? For the subsidiary for Lagos, I cannot see financial assets. Very good for me. I cannot see investment in Lagos. They're nil. I can only see current assets, which are what, 209,600. So I'll come and write here, current assets. These are frameworks. I'm just translating the assets of the foreign subsidiary to my home currency. So I have here the current assets. So the current assets, I can see a figure of 209,600. So 209,600 DNs, I'm translating this using the 2. So divide by the 2 DN per dollar. So at the end of the day, I should be able to get how much? At the end of the day, I should be able to get how much? Somebody talk to me, please. Please. 104,800. So I'm being given a figure of 104,800. So 104,800. Thank you very much. 104,800. What else am I required to translate? What else am I required to translate? What else? Remember, these are dollars. Remember that now these are dollars. What else am I required to translate in the balance sheet? What else am I required to translate in the balance sheet? The liabilities. The liabilities, you're right. You guys are bright. So please go ahead and translate the non-current liabilities first. The non-current liabilities first. So non-current liabilities, are you able to see the non-current liabilities? Non-current liabilities, what figure are you able to see there? I'm able to see 88,000 for non-current liabilities. If you're keen enough, non-current liabilities for Lagos, for the foreign subsidiary, I'm able to see 88,000. So I'll take 88,000 divided by 2 again, which will end up giving me 44,000. Thank you very much. Remember, you told me to translate liabilities. After non-current liabilities, the next one will be the current liabilities. So current liabilities, I can see a figure of what here, somebody? For current liabilities, I can see 11,600. So I can see 11,600. So 11,600, I will come straight away and divide this by the closing rate of 2. Balance sheet items, we use the closing rate always, which is 5,800. Ladies and gentlemen, listen and listen to me very well. Once I've been able to translate this, I know that my next working will not be the goodwill. My next working will not even be the income statement. If the examiner wants me to provide a group balance sheet, if the examiner wants me to provide a group statement of financial position, I'll move after I've done this. This is quite significant to me. I'll go here to my book, write the name of the company. The name of the parent company is Nigeria. Nigeria Group. Nigeria Group. Statement of financial position. Statement of financial position. Statement of financial position. Statement of financial position. As at whatever, I know that language, you guys are quite used to it. I know that language, you guys are quite used to it. So tunaanza na assets za kawaida, So tunaanza na assets. Tunaanza na assets, of which we shall begin with the non-current assets. So non-current assets, I can see they have given me the name there, tangible. Now remember, I am consolidating. I am putting these things together now. It's about taking the parent plus the subsidiary. So for the tangible, what numbers am I supposed to add? Somebody there. What numbers am I supposed to add for the tangible? I'm taking the one of the parent. Now remember, I've been able to translate the balance sheet of the subsidiary. So for the tangible, if you guys are good, you'll be able to see the figure of the parent is 218,000 tangible. Akiniko peke yangu oye. Tangible 218,000 plus the one of the subsidiary. And fortunately, we had adjusted the one of the subsidiary for the fair valuation. So plus 54,500. Please nipatie figure ni ngapi hapo sasa? Please nipatie figure hapo inakuja ngapi? Oye, awaongei 272,500. 272,500. Now, after tangible and current assets, I know the next thing should be what here? I cannot talk. Remember, I'm following, ladies and gentlemen. If you wish, I'm following there. Straight away, after this tangible, it doesn't matter the order really. I can come and I know this is quite a serious goodwill. I can't talk of investment in a subsidiary. So goodwill, I'll simply come and write there goodwill, and then I'll write for my examiner that I need a working for this. I need a working for that. From there, we have financial assets. So we have financial assets, free mark really. Financial assets, I'll take the one of the parent, which is 22,000, plus the one of the subsidiary there, which is 0, nothing really, 0. So this is a free mark, which gives me what figure there? Somebody 22,000. 22,000. From there now we have the current assets. So the current assets. So current assets, they've only given me one name there, consolidated name. So current assets, I'll take the one of the parent. The one of the parent is $90,000. $90,000 plus the translated one of the subsidiary that we are done. Of the subsidiary that we are done. Who can remind us that figure? 104, somebody's telling me it's 104,800. 104,800. So could you kindly give me this figure? Could you kindly give me this total figure now? 90,000 plus 104,800. So the total figure here will be 194,800. 194,800. 194,800. Now, ladies and gentlemen, remember goodwill, I'll be doing goodwill later, isn't it? I'll be doing goodwill later. But first of all, I would want to have a breather and ask you a simple question. Up to where we have reached, are we together? Are we together up to here? Are we together up to here? Ah, great. I thought you guys were sleeping. Great. Thank you very much. So please don't do this. Come and give us the equity there, the equity and what here and liabilities. Give us the equity and liabilities. So equity and liabilities, we start with the first one, which is equity. This is a straightforward thing. I like this. Equity. So equity, let's begin with share capital. Share capital. Share capital. Share capital. So share capital, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Eliza is asking, what of investment in Lagos? Who is Lagos to us, Eliza? Lagos is our subsidiary. Just like I gave you a very good example, Eliza. If, for example, today I was to take my madam for a PhD program, will I stand all the way on top of the roof every time she comes home? Then I'll be beating my chest, telling her, you know what, I've invested in you. No. Investing in my madam is as good as investing in myself. Those are my people, right? The only thing that I can ever enjoy out of that kind of internal investment is goodwill, right? So remember, ladies and gentlemen, that any investment in your subsidiary is normally replaced with what here? Goodwill. Is normally replaced with goodwill. Investment in subsidiaries is replaced with goodwill. If it's associate, I'll talk of investment in an associate. So Elizabeth, have I answered you? Have I answered you? Yes, Hussein, you actually write off whatever you do for her, you write off, you only recognize the goodwill. Perhaps I can't say apata PhD, apata kazi kubwa kwa UN, I'll be there enjoying silently, not every time bringing out that issue like a foolish man. You know, I took you to, no, you don't do that. You don't do that. You don't do that. Great. So ladies and gentlemen, share capital, you guys are bright. You've told me this is a free mark. You only take the one of the parent. So the one of the parent, what do we have there? Somebody, is there somebody who is able to see the share capital of the parent? Is there somebody who is able to see the share capital of the parent? Share capital of the parent, it's 175,000. Are you able to see 175,000? Yes. So when we go to these workshops, even at Kasneb, ladies and gentlemen, Nowadays, we are told to do these questions direct like that. That thing of drawing T accounts is long gone. It has wasted so many students. You'll do this thing in T account like that, and you'll take more than 1.5 hours in one question, which will be very unfortunate. Even if you were to look at a marking scheme from Kasneb, nowadays it is like this: 1 mark, 1 mark, 1 mark, right? Straight. But if you are here trying to do T accounts, cost of control, those things you used to do in early 2000, 2001 there, and then you feel like 2 pages, big pages of T accounts, you'll end up failing. Nowadays, it is what here? It is direct. Fortunately, I happen to be knowing the 2 methods, but I can tell you that the other method of T accounts is a very bogus method. Very bogus method, simply because you'll do what here? You will end up doing quite a lot for a lot of time. Many, you can even get a student doing a question, a consolidation at 2 hours. And yet you're supposed to do this question in how many minutes? 36 minutes. All students who take 1.5 hours here to do a consolidation question, they repeat. That is the surest way of repeating, right? You're supposed to ask yourself, what can I do to be able to get maximum out of the 36 minutes? This is one of the ways. So share capital, we have share premium, a free mark there. So share premium, what do we have also for the parent, isn't it? Share premium is also for the parent. So could you kindly give me a figure, somebody there, for the parent, for share premium? For share premium, wanasema 50,000 for share premium. 50,000. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, from there, we move on. From there, we have a revaluation. I'm simply copying those things there. We have a revaluation, what here? Reserve. A revaluation reserve. A revaluation reserve. So this one, I'll put the figure given there for the parent over how much revaluation reserve. I'll put a figure of 40,000, but I know at times these reserves change. I just put a mark there. I know those reserves at times they change. I just put a mark there. From there, ladies and gentlemen, the next thing there will be a very important working before NCI is what we call the foreign currency. Very important because of the translation. The foreign currency adjustment. This is a very important working, which I'll not do. At times, I'll just write working like that, and then I'll ask my examiner to go and do it later on himself. I don't want that mark. I don't want an award, right? Because at times, some of these workings here will really drain you, right? So after foreign currency adjustment, I'll just leave it like that. I'll come and write the non-controlling interest. Non-controlling interest. So non-controlling interest pia unaweka working. Kama ni mimi naweza hata nisikafanya hiyo kulingana ile maswali nakaa kwa hiyo past paper, naandika working namna hiyo, right? So nataka nivute board sababu ya liabilities. So I don't know whether you guys have been able to write up to there. Have we been able to write up to there? Have we been? Yes. Thank you very much. So then what I'll do, I'll come and rub a few items here and bring in the issue of non-current liabilities in a free mark. Namwandikia hapo non-current. Namwandikia hapo non-current liability. Non-current liabilities. Nachukua ya parenti. Non-current liability. Nachukua ya parenti ambao ni 15,000. 15,000 plus ile non-current liability ya subsidiary. Ilikuwa inakuja ngapi? Non-current ya, kuna retained earnings. Yes. Tumesahau retained, yeke mahali hapo. Yes. Thank you very much. Yeke retained earnings mahali hapo. Yes. Weka retained earnings mahali hapo. Pali popote hapo GNCI. GNCI. Great. You guys have become brighter than mwalimu, which is the best thing. The major objective of any kid is to become brighter than the father. You become brighter than the father. If today I realize that my son is not brighter than myself, I'll really feel very bad. I will feel very bad. My son has to be brighter. So mnaniambia na current liability ilikuwa 44,000 free marks. Please add for me nipatie hii. 15,000 plus 44,000 gives me how much? 59,000. 59,000. 59,000. Thank you very much. Now, the last one is the current liability. The last one is the current liabilities. So the current liabilities, I'll pick the one of the parent is 25,000 plus the one of the subsidiary. Subsidiary going to kuja ngapi? Subsidiary going to kuja ngapi? Somebody current liability. 5,800? 5,800. Thank you very much. So hii itakuja tupatie ngapi somebody mara mwisho? Hii itakuja tupatie ngapi? 3,800. 3,800. 3,800. Sasa wacheni uulize swali. Mwanafunzi akifanya hii swali awache hivyo. Assuming you examiner alikuwa anataka just statement of financial position. Na maybe alikuwa amepatia 8 marks, 8 marks. Wewe through your own assessment, out of 8 marks ungempea kama ngapi? Akiachia hivyo. Of course you're 0. Yeah. It'll be 5, yes. 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 Na kumbuka hiyo ni kuandika na kufanya mambo bila jasho. Yuko muziki lisikie kiimbo juzi ati bila jasho. Bila jasho. No, 6 is too high. Say 5. Say 5. Now, ladies and gentlemen, listen and listen to me very well. Sasa nisikize na mnisikize vizuri sana. Sasa nataka kuanza kufanya hesabu. Sitaki kwenda ingekuwa ni mimi nafanya hata kama ni CCM and which paper, singeendelea na naimba vitu ya working. Ningeenda kwa income statement. Retained earnings, are we adding both? No. Retained earnings, no recurse, is a special formula. It's a special account. Don't worry about retained earnings. Sasa wacha nikuje kwanza nimalizie kwanza hii balance sheet. Tumalizie ni balance sheet kwanza. So kumaliza balance sheet, tuanza na net assets of the subsidiary. Andika net assets of the subsidiary sasa. Net assets of the subsidiary. And these must be given in foreign currency. Must be given in foreign currency. So remember, net assets is at acquisition and at reporting. Net assets at acquisition and at reporting. Yes. Ruth naona kamate maneno. It's net assets at acquisition and net assets at reporting. Hebu tuenda haraka sasa. Ukisikia jina net assets inaguziwa mahali, ukienda kwa interview ya CFO, usikie mtu akisema kuhusu net assets. What comes to your mind? Ukisikia mtu anaongea kuhusu net assets, what comes to your mind? Somebody, equity elements, yes. Equity elements, thank you very much. So could you kindly label them? Could you kindly list them? Those equity elements, please list them. The equity elements, are you able to list them? Is there somebody who is able to list those equity elements? Is there anybody who is able to list the equity elements? Is there anybody who is able to list the equity elements? They are not able to do that. They are not able to do that. Yes, ordinary share capital, thank you very much. So we have here the ordinary share capital. Thank you very much. Ordinary share capital, which other one? Share premium, thank you very much. Share premium, thank you very much. You guys are bright. Ingine ni gani somebody? Retained earnings, thank you very much. Retained earnings, thank you very much. Kuna moja ambao mnasahau jameni. Revaluations, yes. What we call the fair value adjustments. And then we have lastly, depreciation on fair value adjustment. Depreciation on fair value adjustment. Haya, kujeni kwanza mjaze column. Tujaze kwanza hiyo column. Kumbukeni ni net assets of the subsidiary. Net assets of Lagos. Net assets of Lagos in terms of its currency, which is the DN. In terms of its currency, which is the DN. Tuende kwanza tujaze at reporting, what do we have there? At reporting, what do we have there? At reporting, what do we have here? At reporting is the same as at year end. Oye ataki uniongelesha. Ordinary share capital, yaka kampuni kaitwa Lagos, at reporting ine ngapi somebody? Is there anybody who is able to see 50,000? Oye niko peke yangu. Aya, how about share premium? Share premium, how much are you able to see for share premium for Lagos? Thank you very much, Meshach. 10,000. 10,000. Very good. Are you able to see the retained earnings? Retained earnings for Lagos. Retained earnings for Lagos, 150,000, 150,000. Are you able to see the fair value adjustment of Lagos assets? Of Lagos assets? What's coming in? 10,000. Thank you very much. 10,000. Thank you very much. How about the depreciation on fair value adjustment that we got? Do you remember depreciation? So it's 1,000. It's 1,000 like that. But remember, this is something you deduct. It is something you deduct. Now, I know that most of these things itakuwa ni abracadabra kuchange hapa kuweka hapa. Kwa mfano, share capital never changes, inakuwa the same, 50,000. Share premium never changes, inakuwa the same. Lakini haka nika monitor, haka nikanaweza kukuangusha haka. Retained earnings at acquisition is normally given. Retained earnings at acquisition is normally given. Are you able to see the retained earnings at acquisition? Retained, it's in note number, it's in a particular note there. It's not number one. Not number one. When the retained earnings were 50,000. Retained earnings were 50,000. So retained earnings here at acquisition were 50,000. How about fair value adjustment? You unakuja na transfer pale direct 10,000. These assets hazikuwa zime depreciate at all. Hapa ni zero. Zero. So could you kindly come here and give us these figures? There is a question up there. Explain kidogo that 10,000 for fair value adjustment. That is quite easy. We are given in note number 2. Note number 2, at the date of acquisition, the fair value of Lagos non-current assets, which at the time had a remaining useful life of 10 years, exceeded their book value by DN 10,000. So it's a revaluation upwards. So could you kindly give me these figures? Kindly give me these figures. Munapata ngapi hapa woye? Munapata ngapi woye hapa? Net assets at acquisition 120,000. Na hii method yangu imesaidia wanafunzi wengi miaka mingi kupita, ingawa wananuliangi ka kitu. Hata wale walikuwa section 3 la semester, niliwapatia ka format, kakawapatia marks wakapita. Lakini nilipatiangi ya macho. Hii inakuja 200 and what year? 219,000. So could you kindly give me the difference between the two? Difference between the two. The difference between the two. Could you kindly give me the difference between the two? 99,000. So I'm being given a figure of 99,000 here. What name do we give to the difference between these two? What name do we give to this difference? It's POP. Thank you very much, Robert. This is POP. This is POP. POP. And what do we normally do to the POP? What do we normally do to the POP? We share. We split it. So we split it between the parent and the NCI. Split. So come and split this. Tell us the parent will take how much and the NCI will take how much. Very important. Remember the parent was 80%. Remember the parent was 80%, isn't it? And therefore NCI is 20%. Very important for me to know that. NCI is 20%. NCI is 20%. So we are in 79,200, parent 79,200, 79,200, and then NCI 19,800. Kwa mwanafunzi ni private chat hapa ananiuliza mwalimu, POP inamaanisha nini? POP inamaanisha post acquisition profits. Post acquisition profits. Ukianza kufanya ile T account kusumbua sana. Hii hapo utakuwa umesolve vitu mingi sana. Hii inaitwa post acquisition profit. Post acquisition profit. Thank you very much. So are we together up to there? 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 Chonjo, eh? Great, great, great. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment we reach there, I would want you to listen and listen to me very well. Keeping up. Oh, it's already 11. It's already 11, but I would just ask for your 5 minutes, actually. Only 5 minutes. Is that okay? Only 5 minutes. Is that okay? Yes. Now, we have what we call the foreign currency adjustment of the net assets. mentioned there, foreign currency adjustment of the net assets. Foreign currency. Hii lazima. Foreign currency adjustment of the net assets. So give me the net assets at acquisition. Give me the net assets. Give me the net assets here at acquisition. The net assets at acquisition. At acquisition. Give me the net, no. Give me the post-acquisition profit. And then give me the net assets. Give me the net assets. Give me the net assets. Net assets at reporting. Net assets at reporting. Net assets at reporting. Let me just rub this. Let me rub this. So we are doing the foreign currency adjustment on net assets. This is a new working. Foreign currency adjustment on net asset. On net asset. On net asset. Very important working. The foreign currency adjustment on net assets. So could you kindly remind Mwalimu, what was the net asset at acquisition? Please give me the figure. Net asset at acquisition, mulikuwa mnapata ngapi oye hapa? Ilikuwa inakuja ngapi? 120,000. How about the POP? How about the POP? POP ilikuwa inakuja ngapi? POP ilikuwa inakuja ngapi? POP ilikuwa inakuja 99,000. 99,000. Ladies and gentlemen, how about net assets at the year end? Net assets at the reporting, mulikuwa mnapata ngapi? 219,000. You guys are bright. These are free marks. Remember, all these are still in foreign currency. So I would want us to translate this. I would want us to translate this. I would want us to translate this. Ladies and gentlemen, to translate this, they have given us at note number 5. In note number 5, they have given us exchange rates. They have given us exchange rates. So I would want a good student to tell me, this net assets at acquisition, what do you think is the most appropriate exchange rate should we use to exchange? Net assets at acquisition. Very good. It is the exchange rate at acquisition, the starting, at the start, of which umeniambia ni 4. Na mlikuwa umeshaniambia mwalimu ili ya kudivide. So hapa to divide na 4. Sijui kama mmeona hiyo. So net assets, use the starting rate. Net assets, use the starting rate. How about POP? POP in this case here, which rate should we use for POP? Which rate should we use for POP? Which rate should we use for POP? It's a profit. It's average. We said profit. No. Profit is always average. Profit is always average. So this one divide by 3. How about net assets at reporting? How about net assets at reporting? Closing, yes. Closing, yes. So closing, so divide this by what here? Divide this by 2. Ebu nipatieni hizo answers. Oye. Wananiambia ya kwanza ni ngapi? Ya kwanza wananiambia ni 30,000. Ya kwanza wananiambia ni 30,000. Ya kwanza wananiambia ni 30,000. Ya pili je ni ngapi? Oye. Ya pili je ni ngapi? Ya pili je ni ngapi? 33,000. Thank you very much. Kumbuka sasa ni madola. Dollar C. Ya mwisho je inakuja 109,500. Thank you very much. 109,500 dollar C. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, look at this. I would want you to tell me something. You know, at the end of the day, you are required to add the 2. When you add the 2, you'll get 30,000 plus 33,000, giving you 63,000. That is how our assets were supposed, that is the value that our assets were supposed to be having, 63,000. But because of the translation differences, we can see that our net assets at the end of the year have a different value. They have a different value. So, ladies and gentlemen, for you to be able to get, in this case here, a foreign currency adjustment on net assets, which will be a gain here. I can see it's a gain. What I'll do, I'll take the closing rate 109,500 minus these other two, minus these two combined. I'm going to subtract minus 30,000 minus 33,000. You'll be able to get your gain on net assets. 120 ilitoka wapi? Umesahau hiyo working tulikuwa nayo huko juu. Kuna hiyo working tulikuwa nayo huko juu. Kuna hiyo working tulikuwa nayo huko juu. Kuna working ambayo tulikuwa nayo huko juu ilikuwa na net assets at acquisition. Wanafunzi wameanza kulala, kitaenda nyumba, tutawacha sasa kazi. 46 wameanza kulala kusema kweli. 46 what here somebody? 46 what here somebody? 46,500. So this is 46,500. Hii unagawia, unaigawa, you split it. Split it. Parent akule kitu yake, parent akule kitu yake. So split it 46,500. Parent akule 80%, parent akule 80%, na NCI akule 20%. You split immediately. Split immediately. Split immediately. I can see Jackie na Kipkorino ameinua mkono juu. Please, I would want you guys to ask questions by just typing there. Please type there. Please type there. Please type there. So ananiambia parent should be 37,200. Parent should be 37,200. How about NCI? 9,300. NCI 9,300. Thank you very much. Now I'm doing my last working. Second last working actually. Second last working. Second last working. Second last working. And remember, it's good for you to be proud of your currency. This is the dollar, and this is the dollar. Like that, we must be proud of our currency. So are we together, first of all, up to there? Those hands that I saw up, please try typing. I'll be able to respond. Are we together up to there? 2 yeses are great. It's good to know that you guys are following. So the next, which happens to be the second last working, is the working of goodwill. So calculate goodwill. Calculate goodwill. If you allow me, I'll come and straight away now grab this. Remember, you get net assets, you get foreign currency adjustment on net assets. You get goodwill, you get foreign currency on the goodwill as well. That only, and then we go home. We go home, we sleep, we sleep. Where do we take those workings? Don't worry. Don't worry, don't worry. You'll see those workings where they are going. Don't worry. So we have goodwill. Remember, goodwill, you have to calculate goodwill in terms of foreign currency. In terms of foreign currency. Is there somebody who is able to remember goodwill? Is there somebody who is able to remember goodwill? How do we, goodwill is the easiest thing. You give us the considerations paid by the two parties. You give us the consideration paid by the parent. Consideration paid by the parent. Ukiangalia pale, ina confusing wanafunzi wengi sana. Utaona mwanafunzi amena amechukua the parent. You know, it has to be in form of foreign currency. Unaona kama yashachukua ile 100K, which is truthful, but you see 100K is in form of dollar. Usidanganyike. Woye. Usidanganyike. Ni in terms of what here? The foreign currency, the DN. Is there somebody who is able to tell me the consideration paid by the parentee in terms of the foreign currency? Someone talk to me. Ukiangalia note number 1. Ukiangalia note number 1. They're gonna I rubbed before they finished. I'll share the video with you. Don't worry. I'll share the video with you. I'll share the video with you. So amesema hapa kwamba from note number 1, it is 400,000 DN. Thank you very much. 400,000 DN. Please remember that this is goodwill in form of DN. In form of DN. In form of foreign currency. In form of foreign currency. Great. Now, ladies and gentlemen, after that, come and give us the consideration of the NCI. The consideration of the NCI. Are you able to remember the fair value of NCI? Are you able to remember the fair value of NCI? Is there somebody who is able to remember the fair value of NCI? The 20%. These guys will give you the fair value of NCI. The fair value of NCI inakuja ngapi? Same. 30,000. Unfortunately, it is in the form of DN. Kama iko in form of DN, utanyoroshwa sawa. Alafu unanipigia simu unaniambia mwalimu, hii AFR mimi naanguka kila siku nimerogwa. Hakuna kurogwa hii maisha. Niwe mwenyewe uja internalize concepts, ujarogwa na kuroga. Si mroge ajiroga kwanza yeye mwenyewe apate, ajiroga mwenyewe apate ni pesa basi. 30,000. Note number 1, Abdul. Note number 1, remember. Note number 1. So then this gives us 430,000 like that. Abdi, angalia note number 1, Abdi. Note number 1, sindio kuna kitu ya 400,000 DN. Abdi, confirm whether you've been able to see the 400,000. Abdi, confirm whether you've been able to see the 400,000. Abdi hajaona hiyo. Abdi hajaona bado. Yes, thank you very much. So once I get this total consideration, I should come here and say less what? I should come here and say less what? Less what? I should come here and say less what? Net assets at acquisition. Thank you very much. Less net assets at acquisition. Less net assets. Are you able to remember the net assets at acquisition? Are you able to remember the net assets at acquisition? Yes. In DN, how much? How much in DN? How much in DN? How much in DN? 120,000. 120,000. So could you kindly subtract here for you to be able to give me what we call goodwill at acquisition. Goodwill at acquisition. What are we able to get as goodwill at acquisition? What are we able to get as goodwill at acquisition? Goodwill at acquisition. $310,000. Thank you very much. So after getting this 310,000, what do? We'll come under less impairment, isn't it? So we less impairment. Impairment, they have told us there is no impairment which occurred. So meaning that goodwill at the end, itakuwa ngapi? Somebody, goodwill at the end. Goodwill at the end. Goodwill at the end, itakuwa ngapi? 310,000. Remember, these are in form of what here? The end. Once I finish that, I know what should follow here automatically is the foreign currency adjustment of goodwill. Because I have to translate it. And when I'm translating it to my reporting currency, then I have to compute. So mention their title, foreign currency adjustment on goodwill. Foreign currency adjustment on goodwill. Foreign currency adjustment on goodwill. So can I wrap this? Can I wrap this? Can I wrap this? Can I wrap this? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Hiyo ni kitu rahisi sana, foreign currency adjustment on goodwill. Hiyo ni kitu rahisi sana. Hiyo ni kitu mboga. So foreign currency adjustment. So foreign currency adjustment for goodwill. What tunakuwa na hizo mbili peke yake for goodwill. So what do we have here? We have goodwill at acquisition. Mlinipatia 310,000 DN. So nataka ku translate. So ina translate namna gani? Ni divide na nini? Mnakumbuka exchange rate kweli? Oh yeah. Mnakumbuka exchange rate kweli? Penina amesema mwalimu translate at 2. How can you translate at 2 something that occurred at acquisition? How can you translate at 2? And we know the acquisition. We know the acquisition rate, the start rate. Remember, we acquired this thing at the start of the period, right? Start at 4. So divide this at 4. Thank you very much. Please give me a figure. Please give me a figure. 77,500. Thank you very much. And then now we have goodwill at reporting. Goodwill at reporting. So goodwill at reporting was also 310,000 DN. But I would want to translate this. Could you kindly help me translate this? Kindly help me translate this. Kindly help me translate this. Which rate should I use? Which rate should I use? Which rate should I use? Thank you. 2. So could you kindly then divide for me? Divide for me. Divide for me. Divide for me very first. Divide for me very first. They are telling me mwalimu, it is 155,000. 155,000. So please come and give me the gain there. So the gain The gain will be 155,000 minus 77,500, which will end up giving me what figure, somebody there? USD, yes. This is now US dollar. US dollars, yes. US dollars. So wanasema it is $77,500. What should we do with this gain? What should we do with this gain? What should we do with this gain? We share out, isn't it? We share out. Thank you very much. We share out. So we share out the parent. Parent will be 80%. Parent will be 80%. NCI will be 20%. I'm almost home. So 80% of this, 20%. Please give me these figures. Give me these figures. I'm finishing. Trust you me. Numero tells me it is 62,000. 62,000. How about NCI? How about NCI? How about NCI? 15,500. Yeah. Sasa, do me a favor. Do me a favor. Can you kindly go to your group statement of financial position? Can you kindly go to your group statement of financial position, and where you are seeing goodwill, we had written goodwill into bracket working. We had written goodwill into bracket working. Do you remember that? Are you able to see that section? Are you able to see that section? Yes. What figure of goodwill should you take there? Somebody, what figure of goodwill should you take there? It has to be in terms of dollars. I want us to put a figure there. 62,000. No. This is an income statement thing. It is here. It is here. Goodwill at reporting. Goodwill at reporting, $155,000. Thank you very much. So have you inserted that thing there? Have you been able to insert there? Have you been able to insert that thing there? No, they're not talking to me tonight. They aren't talking to me tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, listen and listen to me very well. Still, when you are there, there is something else I would want you to go and just finish. There is a foreign currency adjustment there, which has a working. Foreign currency adjustment. Foreign currency adjustment, I can see there is share of parents' net assets, foreign currency, and there is share of parents' goodwill, foreign currency gain. Hii ndio mmeniambia saizi goodwill, foreign currency gain mmeniambia 62,000. 62,000. Hii nimeshasahau jameni. Ya parent nishasahau jameni hiyo, nishasahau jameni. Nilikuwa kuja ngapi somebody? Nishasahau hiyo jameni. 37,200. 37,200. So could you kindly go there and add? Or rather, first of all, give me the total here. For the parent only. For the parent only. So please come here and give me this. 99,200. So what I don't know is whether you have been able to fix that figure somewhere in your statement of financial position. In your statement of financial, have you been able to fix that figure somewhere? And the foreign currency adjustment, wameanza kuchanganyikiwa. And the foreign currency adjustment, have you been able to fix that figure somewhere? Wengi kabisa wameanza kuchanganyikiwa. Wengi wameanza kuchanganyikiwa. Wengi wameanza kuchanganyikiwa. Great. 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 Now, if you would allow me, I would want us straight away, ladies and gentlemen, to do the last working, which is the NCI. NCI. Can we do that one? Ama tuanzie hiyo kwa klasi ya kesho. Klasi ya kesho saa 4 usiku. Because tubaki na NCI peke yake. Do it. Kesho. I think Kesho is winning. Tomorrow, please. Kesho. But remember, even for NCI, we have everything. NCI is NCI at the beginning. You add the share of POP. You add the share of what are these two. You will be able to get NCI. And then now the retained earnings will be retained earnings now will be your balancing fee, will be your balancing figure. Tumalize tu hiyo peke yake, alafu tuanze kiswali mpya kesho. Tuanze income statement kesho. Yeah, so great. So ladies and gentlemen, then NCI, what do we have here for NCI? What do we have here for NCI? Fortunately, we have everything. We have everything for NCI. So NCI working. So we have here NCI at acquisition. Is there anybody who is able to give us this figure? NCI at acquisition. Is there anybody who is able to give us this figure? Linus anauliza 99,200. Where do we take it? The statement of financial position. There was a place we left under equity called foreign currency adjustment. Called foreign currency adjustment. 99,200. Linus, are you able to see that thing? Are you able to see that thing? Are you able to see that thing? Thank you. Sasa turudi hapa. NCI, ebu sana nipatini figure haraka haraka. NCI at acquisition ni ngapi somebody? NCI at acquisition ni ngapi? NCI at 30,000 DN. But now I want to translate this. So I want to translate this to dollar. So how do I translate? Which rate should I use? 4, 3, or 2? Which rate should I use there? Which rate should I use? 4, yes, because of the word acquisition at the start. So divided by 4. So 30,000 divided by 4 inakuja ngapi? 30,000 divided by 4 inakuja ngapi? 30,000 divided by 4 inakuja ngapi? 7,500. 7,500. Now come here and add share of POP. Share of POP. Is there somebody who is able to remember the share of POP? Share of POP. Share of POP. Share of POP. 9,300. 9,300. 19. In 19,800 ilikuwa in form of DN, sama ilikuwa in form of ilikuwa in form of dollar. I think DN. So DN, come on DN, no problem. Come and divide this by the average rate. Divide by the average rate. What is the average rate? 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 3. So divide by 3. Could you kindly give me a figure to write there? Kindly give me a figure to write there. Kindly give me a figure to write there. 6,600. Thank you very much. Now come here and give me add share of foreign currency. Foreign currency for net assets. Is there somebody who has got that figure? Is there somebody who has got that figure? Fortunately, for net assets, we had translated. We had done everything. Foreign currency net assets, I think it was, yes, $9,300. I hope you have dollars there. These are supposed to be dollars, all of them. All right. And then we have here, lastly, add share of foreign currency goodwill. How much? Goodwill, how much? Goodwill, for goodwill, how much? Somebody, how much? 15,500. 15,500. So could you kindly give me the total for NCI? Please give me the total for NCI. What do we have there as the total for NCI? What do we have there as the total for NCI? $38,900. Do you know where you're going to take this figure in the balance sheet? Do you know where you'll take the figure in the balance sheet? There is a place we left there, NCI. NCI, there is a place we left there, put NCI there, put a figure there, put a figure there, put a figure there, put a figure there. And if you've been able to put a figure there, let's see whether we have anybody who will be able to give us the retained earnings as a balancing figure. Who is able to give us the retained earnings as a balancing figure? Is there anybody who can give us the retained earnings as a balancing figure 151,400. 151,400. I know Dorcas, you are really finding it very hard. Sababu hujakuwa na mimi hapa. Linda ameconfirm 151,400. Yes, 151. Hakuna change ya revaluation. Hakuna change ya revaluation. Because whatever revaluation tulikuwa na fair value adjustment tulifanya kwa net assets. Tulifanya kwa net assets. So ladies and gentlemen, kwa masiku zote, hiyo ndio tumefanya kazi mingi sana. So I'm happy. So I know the new students who are joining us for the very first time mmeshtuka kidogo, but I'm also 100% sure that you are able to see value of whatever we have done. Kama ulikuwa na mwalimu wako anapiga ma T accounts, ingekuwa anapiga T accounts kwa hii hesabu, haungeshika anything. Afadhali hivyo at least umefuata. So please, I encourage you guys to go ahead and register with us. Go ahead and register with us. Ndio tusome kitu kabisa vizuri. Thank you very much. It has been a pleasure hosting you. It has been a pleasure hosting you tonight. T account zinafanya mshikwe, yes. Yes. Tuachana hiyo mambo ya T accounts kabisa. It is direct. Great. So the new students, are you coming to join me? Are you coming to join me for this block release?